Hello, seniors and mothers. My name is Maddie,
And my name is Macy.
and we will be your MCs for today.
We are so glad that you could join us for this year's Senior Mother Tea. It is such an important tradition here at GP, even virtually.
As much as we wish we could meet in person, we are so thankful we can meet like this to celebrate our moms and all that they do for us.
So today we are here to highlight just that. As we begin to grow up and our futures creep closer, it's times like these where we get to enjoy all the love, lessons learned, and memories made.
So brew some tea and get comfortable as we start it all off with Maddie Lennon, who will be sharing a letter to mothers.
Hi Grizzlies and happy Mother's Day. My name is Maddie Rose Lennon, and today I'm going to be reading a piece that I wrote on the women in my family and the legacies that they have left. The year is 1910. A young woman bids farewell to her fiancé as he leaves their home in Russia to search for a better life for them in America. He gives her an amethyst ring and tells her that he will send for her. I am living proof that he did. Living in Russia, she faced sexism and anti-Semitism daily. Despite this, she became one of few women in Russia to pursue an education. Furthermore, she was one of a limited number of women in the world at the time to be educated in the Torah. 110 years later, her legacy inspires me to value my education as much as she did. I recognize that I am privileged to have the opportunity to study what I love, and will fight like she did to make sure that others have that right too. I wear this ring on my left ring finger. The year is 1966. A woman gets a ring with 3 amethysts for her 20th wedding anniversary. She leads a life of grace and compassion. Her great-granddaughter knows her as Princess Sarah, as her granddaughter wants her to understand the importance this woman held in her life. I hope to exhibit the same type of kindness and love that is passed down for generations on end. When I see her ring, I am motivated to show those around me the benevolence that she showed my mother and grandmother. I wear this ring on my right thumb. The year is 1969. Woodstock rages on as a young woman gets married. She receives a gold ring with intricate geometric patterns carved into it. Only 19, she is free and joyful, resembling the spirit of the 60s. She extends kindness to everyone she meets, yet she struggles with severe anxiety. 51 years later, I identify with the same mental illness that my grandma does. However, she has taught me that anxiety does not define a person. She radiates joy and flashes her infectious smile to the world. She still struggles with anxiety, but she serves as a community resource worker to immigrant families in Canada. I too strive to serve others and never fear to turn attention from myself when there is someone in need. I wear this ring around my left thumb. The year is 1986. A 13-year-old girl is giving her first piece of jewelry, a simple gold ring. She is young and ambitious. Her mother raised her to believe that she could be anything she wanted to be when she grew up, and she did just that. She immigrated to America after college to start her nursing career. She raised me with the same principles that her mother used and exhibits them daily. After a 20-year career in nursing, she retired to pursue her creative passion, photography. She is now one of the most sought-after photographers in our vicinity. I am always struck by her bravery and determination. Inspired by her, I have grown up pursuing my dreams, however far-fetched they may seem. I exhibit grit and determination when chasing my goals. This ring now wraps around my left middle finger. I never had the opportunity to grow up with family in a conventional sense. Instead, I grew up with their legacies. I grew up with a century of love, heartbreak, defeat, joy, hardship, and celebration wrapped around my fingers. The power of a legacy never ceases to amaze me. I do not know what my future holds. However, I am already creating a gift for someone I have never seen. The future is uncertain and ever-changing, but each day my legacy is being set in stone. Lin-Manuel Miranda once said that a legacy is planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. While I may never see my garden, I am ever awaiting the day I can pass down these rings to the next generation.
That was awesome, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you, Maddie.
Now, before we get too snappy too quick, I think we should play a game.
That's a great idea.
To introduce it, we want to welcome Lauren Peltier and her mom.
I hope you guys are ready for a game. How this is going to work is there will be a question asked and you will tip your head towards the person that it most describes.
Who shops more? Who is more outgoing? Who spends more time on their phone? Who is most likely to be a stand-up comedian? Who is most likely to bring home a stray puppy? Who is most likely to be late? Who is most likely to get up early? Who is most likely to get a tattoo? Who is better at driving? Who is the best mom?
Well, that was fun.
We hope you had a good time with that one, and don't worry, there's more where that came from.
There sure is. For now, we would like to introduce another one of your 2021 seniors, Luke Allen, who will be reciting a poem that he wrote called Mothers, a Friend So Dear.
Mothers, a friend so dear. Throughout our lives, you've always been near. A tender smile to guide our way. You're the sunshine that lights our day. With every small act of kindness you show us, you care. Keeping a smile on your face, even when life isn't fair. How could we repay you? There's nothing we could do but to say 3 simple words, I love you.
Thanks, Luke. It is so great to have mothers we can call friends even from when we are very young. It's so important to make light of the nostalgic things that bring us back to our childhood.
Yes, totally. These are the moments that we will always remember, and although we are moving on to bigger things, that light will still be held in our moms.
That's something I think is so special, that no matter how hard life might be for our moms, they make our little world so special. A place that will always be there to come back to despite where we could be in our own lives.
As we grow independent, these memories will never fade from our hearts.
To bring us back to these times, we would like to invite a teacher here at GP, Miss Veach, to talk about her most important job, being a mother.
She is a mother not only to her young children, but to many of us students here at GP. She knows exactly what it is like to keep a little world so special as we grow up into who we are today.
Hi, my name is Kara Veach, otherwise known as Mrs. Veach, and I've had the honor of being some of your students' English teacher, either their freshman or sophomore year here at Glacier Peak High School. Now, teaching is one of my roles in life that I play, but it truly is a passion because of how much I love seeing your students grow and learn to believe in themselves. As many of your students know or may not know, I play many different roles in my life, as do so many of you. I'm a wife to my husband of 12 years. I'm a friend. I'm a pastor. I'm a speaker. I'm a published writer. I'm a club advisor for the Black Student Union Club, and I'm an ex-athlete, which means that I used to be an athlete, but now I consider that if people just think that I work out, I'm good. Another role I fill in my life is the role of being a mom. I have 3 kids. Their names are Boston, Beckham, and Berkeley, and they're ages 9, 7, and 4. Now, when I had my first child, Boston, the role of motherhood didn't really feel like a natural role right away. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was elated to be pregnant. I was so excited to have a kid, but I never grew up babysitting. I didn't have a ton of siblings, and I wasn't the girl who dreamt of driving a minivan or being a soccer mom or even dressing up my little girl in dress-up clothes. I laugh now, though, because I currently drive a minivan to soccer practice 3 times a week, and I end up prying my little girl out of dress-up clothes almost every single night before bed. But I didn't dream of these things. I dreamt of being famous, I dreamt of being a leader, and I dreamt of making a difference in the world. Now, when Boston was born, he's now 9 years old, I was excited, you could say, but in all honesty, I think I was more in shock. not just from the 34 hours of labor that I endured, or the 3 epidurals that didn't work, or the 3 days we were in the NICU with a baby with jaundice. No, I was in shock because I realized this simple truth, that I am now tied to this thing forever. It doesn't go away. I am now in charge of this life at all times, 24 hours a day for the next 18 plus years. I mean, when Boston was a baby, we'd have a sitter watch him, and in order for us to go on this date, I needed to make this list of about 2 pages of things they needed to know about Boston, when his feeding times were, how to make the bottle, so and so and so. In the diaper bag, whenever we would go out, we would make sure we had formula, diapers, extra baby clothes, burp cloths, snacks that ended up leaking out all over the inside of the bag, and maybe, if I remembered, my wallet. Then when he got a little older, in 2015, I decided to apply for a teaching job at Glacier Peak High School. Well, in all honesty, I applied because I had a really hard day with my 3 and 1-year-old, so I opened up my computer, applied for the job, and then called and told my husband that I applied for a teaching job. But when he had his first day of preschool that year, I had to make sure that my nanny knew what he had to have at school, and I also had to warn them of his lactose intolerance and his aversion to getting dirty. Later, when Boston was in kindergarten and he stepped his first step onto the Little Cedars campus next door, I had to make sure that he had his backpack, he had his lunch packed, his 2 snacks, his coat, and he knew where he was going when he walked through those doors. And just the other weekend, when he played his soccer game down in Puyallup, and when he made a mistake that caused the other team to score, I had to make sure he knew that I loved him no matter what, and that I was proud of him. Right now, I'm reading Boxcar Children, throwing footballs outside, watching Tom and Jerry, and playing games like Life or Sorry on the floor of our living room. But soon I know I'll be chauffeuring him around, feeding him ungodly amounts of food, and crying as he's taking pictures before dances, supporting him at games, and eventually walking him to graduation, and then watching as he walks across the stage and receives his diploma. When he's sitting next to me during our senior mother tea, my role will have changed significantly from what it is now. The role of a mom changes over time. And one of my favorite authors and speakers by the name of Andy Stanley breaks down these different roles that a parent plays in the life of their child in the following ways. The first role is between the ages of 0 and 5. This role is disciplinarian. This is where we teach our kids how to behave and that there's consequences to their actions. We take their toys away at the dinner table and we teach them how to put away their clothes, and every so often we have to teach them that picking their nose is not acceptable, especially when they eat their boogers. The second role we play as a mom between the ages of 5 and 12 is the trainer. This is when we focus on explaining the why behind the what of our rules and our expectations. We explain why we treat others with respect, why we don't wear gray on gray, or why we can't eat cake for breakfast. Or we end up consulting the Magic School Bus and they teach our kids on where our food goes when we digest it. Or in our house, Siri is a big help to all the questions that we're getting right now. The next stage is the ages of 12 to 18, and that's when we are the coaches. We sit on the sidelines, but step in when we're needed, and we're always ready to connect, encourage, and console. We coach through breakups, failed tests, driver's ed, and figuring out what's next in life. You're in that coaching stage right now. But You're just about to move into the next stage, and that's the stage when you get to be friends. You get to learn how to enjoy your kids' company as an adult and learn how to process life together. You won't be on the sidelines to coach anymore, but you'll get a new vantage point in getting to watch and celebrate by playing the game together. Your role as mom never changes, but the way you play out that role is constantly shifting. So as you mourn the loss of the discipline years, don't forget they used to poop on you. As you smile over the training years, don't forget how they used to think you were cool. I'm still in those years. I'm still cool. As you gawk over the coaching years that you're in for just a second longer, posting your kids' senior pictures on Facebook, remember, they don't have Facebook because it's not cool now that you're on it. But in all seriousness, relish this time. But get excited because the sweetest time of friendship is around the corner. As you experience all the emotions thinking back on these last 18 years, remember that you are still tied to this thing forever. It doesn't go away. Your role of mother is forever. I may have wanted to be famous, but man, my kids make me feel famous every time I walk through the door. I may have wanted to be a leader, but leading my kids in becoming good human beings is the most important leadership training I can ever give. I may have wanted to make a difference in the world, but I know that I'm making a difference in 3 little lives each and every day. And those 3 little lives will sit at senior mother tea and then leave me months later to go and make their own difference in the world. Out of the many roles that I've played in my life, the most significant one is the role of mom. So let me leave you with just these few words from the famous book, Love You Forever, written by Robert Munsch. It says, I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be.
Wow, thank you, Ms. Veach, for those beautiful words.
Not only are you a wonderful mom, but you are a great role model to so many of us.
And moms, although we may not be your little babies anymore, we are beyond grateful to be able to call you lifelong friends.
I don't think I've had a friend that I've laughed, cried, and smiled with more than my mom.
Before we begin to wrap things up, we would like to introduce one more senior, Charlotte Burns, who will be sharing a haiku that she wrote herself.
The title of my haiku is Mother. She walks with me, even if I push away, harmoniously. Her mind works in 2, strong and gentle together. She is entrancing. My dearest mother, you, a fighter full of love, I thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. That was beautiful.
It is so important for us to recognize the walk that a mother and their child take, demonstrated in the simplicity of this poem. How long the road seems, but how quick it flies by.
Nothing will ever beat the unconditional love of our mothers, and for this we are forever grateful.
Mothers of seniors, you have set up your sons and daughters with this foundation of love for them to thrive off of as they grow independent. We thank you.
We are so happy you all could join us for our 2021 Senior Mother Tea, and we hope you all have a happy and healthy Mother's Day celebrating with loved ones.
To conclude, here is Ben Glover with a closing message followed by a slideshow of our seniors and all of their awesome moms. Enjoy.
Mothers know best. As seniors, we are rapidly approaching the age of adulthood. Some of us are already there, others of us are fairly close. We like to think that we know it all. Youth often feel invincible, like the world is wrapped around our finger. Yet if there are 2 things that I have learned from my mother, it is that old age and treachery outsmarts youth and exuberance every time, and that mothers usually know what they're talking about. As we scamper off into our various future endeavors, I implore you all to consider the lessons that your mom has taught you. Knowledge is power, and the knowledge of powerful women is a very important information that you need to lead a great life. The lessons that you were taught may vary, but I can guarantee you that there will be no greater advocate and no better mentor for you than your mom. She will always have your back. She may not love everything you do, but she will always love you. So on this Mother's Day, make sure you tell your mom how much you appreciate her. She's a key component in who you are today, and she's a key influence on who you will become. Thank you to all the moms out there for doing what you do, for raising the amazing people who I get the privilege of calling my colleagues and fellow students, for being inspirations to us all, and for always being there for us, no matter what. Thank you so much, and happy Mother's Day.